The tunnels were busy when I arrived mid-morning. Lizards ran amok, arms loaded down with heavy weapons, hammers, chisels, and uncharged crystals in all their various colors. Instead of celebrating the end of the war, the blacksmithing regiment had only become busier as all the bad deals they'd made to unsuspecting soldiers came to an end. I was here to collect, too. I easily spotted the lime-cloaked lizard from the procession yesterday. His stupid uniform wrapped around his shoulders, burned into frayed edges that carried the smell of tar. Without wasting any time, I walked straight up to him, dodging running lizards and soldiers there to collect on false promises. These blacksmiths really were the shadiest lot. He saw me coming. Scrap metal that dug rivets in his arms fell to the ground with an annoying clatter, prompting more than one distasteful glance his way. By freezing, the lizard had given up on running, though I could see the quivering muscles in his thighs. A smile pulled down on my lower lip, impossible to stop. He could try to run all he wanted. That would make my day, really. "Yes," he said as I landed, the tips of my boots touching his. "Yes?" "Yes," he repeated, turning creakily toward a wall of shelves in a glowing alcove that shone through the dimness with brilliant yellow marvelite. "With this pommel," I reminded, shoving the useless sword into his arms. A quick slice pulled a thin ribbon of blood down his cheek, but as he looked up into my face again, he clenched the weapon tighter. More blood flicked off as he twisted the sword into his chest. "My commander gave it to me. Right away," he said, scurrying off. I was left to wait, watching the bustling tunnels grow only more hectic by the minute. The lizards must be really bad at their jobs. Now that the war's done, maybe all these fossils could be replaced with blacksmiths who didn't have iron rods wedged so far up their asses they got in the way of breathing. I leaned against the built-in shelves outside my lizard's workshop. Similar workshops, lit by marvelite and other bright crystals, peeked through the gloom. I hated these types of crystals the most. Why does anything need to be that bright? The tunnels weren't actually underground, but they were on a long downward slope that gathered rain when it poured those few times a year. That was why there were no shelves built below my hips. Each weapon sitting within the trough-like units had a tag. It was obviously a place to keep completed weapons before the owner came to collect them. I was surprised by how many my lizard had already finished. I didn't think he did much more than smoke and gamble and talk about people behind their backs. It wasn't long before others found their dealings coming to a standstill. More soldiers, wolves, hawks, and dragons most of all, dotted the main atrium. The sounds of bending, casting, forging, and all the other things the lizards did to make weapons never ceased, but there grew a steady, almost calming rhythm. Each hammer answered a call to all the others, almost like talking or singing. "Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour," a voice called out. I didn't move. "Fearsome lion, or are you still a cub?" the voice continued. Again, they were ignored. But they didn't mind. "Can't even kill one measly lion cub, yet everyone says you're the next commander of the special forces. As if. I'll believe it when I see it. Not like the lions are looking good these days." Now, this was interesting. I turned away from the shelves of weapons, looking into the dark. It took only a moment to see the kid, leaning with one leg propped up against the wall behind him, hands in his pockets, a smirk making his nose look larger than it possibly was. A dragon, under the command of the princess who'd made a pass at my man last night. "Why's that?" I asked. "We killed the demon god, that blue bastard. We ended the war. The dragons had their chance, didn't they? But only the lions could finish it. That smirking face rippled, a dark crack appearing with a wrinkle between his brows. Don't act like you did something nobody else could. I shrugged. But we did. Something shifted in the air within the atrium. The clanking rhythm stuttered. Always a gutter rat, the dragon muttered with a hiss. I raised a brow. Sure, I agreed. I came from the streets. Amazing what happens when you look for talent even amongst the commoners, isn't it? You can actually kill one measly demon, something you noble-born brats can't even imagine. The foot fell from the wall. Face cracked into plain ugly. The dragon took one step forward. You think you're such hot shit, but you're an idiot. That's what you are, an idiot who can't even see he's on his dying legs. I made a show of glancing down at my legs that had carried me at record speeds across a rocky path from the farthest edge of the capital to here. I patted each one, the slaps echoing in the now silent room. Then I looked back at the dragon. Looks all right to me, mate. The dragon launched across the space, but a tangle of other soldiers who had also been waiting came and dragged him to a standstill. It took a while. He was halfway across the room by the time their little gaggle stopped, fuming and hissing. Let it go, man. Just let it go. He doesn't understand. Before the dragon could be pulled away and the scene he'd made be put to rest, two chaotic voices entered the room. I heard them before I saw them. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for me to hide.